Hey, good evening, everyone. Can't see us yet, but there we are. It's just Woody and I tonight on a War Week Wednesday. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Woody, how you doing?
Just phenomenal. Fantastic.
So we're coming off a win where we protected the pick. Uh, some fans, like from the Lions, will say it was a boring waste of a game for Thursday night football, but I would think that they would, Thursday night football disagreed. It was a one-score game. It was close. There was some back and forth. It was definitely defensive. I mean, what was your take on the game Thursday?
Well, it's like all Thursday night games with us. I mean, look at our Thursday games last year against Washington. Boring. Yeah, we protected the pick. It was closer than I thought it would be. Everybody called it a close game, but I thought, since our weapons and how Carolina is, thought it'd be a little bit more scoring. Badgett, he did protect the ball. But overall, like I said, we protected the pick, and a win's a win, I guess, this time with our record. So that's how I think
Yeah,
of
I
it.
mean, take the W when you can get. I'm just, I didn't expect it to be that close. I mean, okay, Carolina's offense produced no touchdowns. We produced one. Their touchdown coming from special teams, and that's the first time this year our special teams got for a
Yep.
return. But with our offense not getting a touchdown, I put that squarely on the OC again.
Yep.
Just like they won despite Luke Getsy's offensive scheme. I think.
Yeah. I think play calling was bad, and I know, quarterbacks, want to get out of the pocket and make plays and stuff like that. But it seems like Badgett was out of that pocket a lot on Sunday. A lot. Short throws, didn't get to the receivers. Now we know why they put in Peterman to throw that Hail Mary.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, overall, like I said, a win's a win. But yeah, play calling sucks again.
Well, this week we get Justin back. It looks like. It looks like that's going to be the case. Justin Field is Bear Down Mike is going to be joining us here in a second. We get Fields back. If he practices well as far as the grip strength, divisional game. So we'll see if Getsy gets it with the play calling, because like you look at the last Thursday night game against Washington, he got it right because
Yeah.
the offense was moving. And since then, though, the offense, no matter who's been quarterback, it's been, even the Vegas game. I attribute that win more to their bad coaching than our playing.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what's going to take for for Getsy to be fired, and for us to be done with them. So I'm going to post that there. So Bear Down Mike can join us. So Thursday's game, I was happy about that. I was happy for the win. If you're watching, I just posted a link. I know Bear Down Mike will be on. We'll try to get some other people on. It is a war week. If you're a Lions fan, come and join Woody, Mike, and myself. We're going to talk about the Lions game in a minute. Just closing out the Thursday game, though, the defense. I mean, here comes Mike. Well, it's not that Carolina has a stellar offense, but they've been able to move the ball all season. They've been able to put up points against teams all season, but the defense just kept them. They didn't score a touchdown, right? They got a couple field goals. Hey, Mike, how you doing? They got a couple field goals, and that was it. And it looked like we're not starting to see the sacks.
Somebody's got some background.
Yeah, Mike, it sounds like you got some background noise.
John, can you turn that off, please?
Yeah, and the interesting stat is, I think I heard it, and I don't make stuff up. Bears are giving up the lowest yards per rush at
number one
at 3.2. So
and that's gonna come into play. Sorry, I'm adjusting some things here. That's gonna come into play this week when we talk about the Lions game. So, Mike, I'll give you a second. Woody and I were talking about the Thursday game. What was your thoughts about the Thursday game?
I think Bajent managed the game like he's supposed to. The one thing I was happy to see is Valus wasn't out on the field. Thank God. The DJ Moore, offensive pass interference was, I think, bullshit.
Trash.
That was terrible. Other than that, Bajent did what he was supposed to do as a backup.
Yeah, I think he's proven that he's going to be a quality backup in this league for a while, and that he's going to save us some money because now we don't have to spend a ton of money on a free agent at backup. I mean, and Dan, welcome to the show, brother. What happened? Why am I not?
Dan, you're fucking late. It's about time, though.
I know. I'm almost.
What's up, Dan?
What's going on?
So, Dan, we were talking about Thursday night's game. What was your take on Thursday's game?
I was glad the way it came out. I mean, it helped with our draft position and that, wherever we've got the 5th, but still Carolina's the first pick still. So
yeah, and actually Arizona winning helped us out as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple 2-win teams there, so the Giants need to win some. Who's the other 2-win team? The Giants are 2
Patriots.
The Pats, and then Zona. But I think Arizona is going to win some more games. They're already seeing the impact of Kyle Murray coming back, and
as long as we beat them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Our own pick is to obviously go up in the draft. We're going to keep moving up that ladder. We're still going to be top half of draft because we're not a playoff team. But Badgett really, like Dan said, managed. He showed he's going to be a good backup for this team. The defense, I think, with what the quote Woody said, I guess we can use this to segue into the Detroit game because Detroit, they boast to have one of the best offensive lines in football. Mm-hmm. And we are the best now team in the NFL against the run, which compared to when we look back to last year, we were the worst. Now we're the best against the run. Montez Sweat made a huge impact on this game Thursday, and that's still with only 10 days of being in town, so to speak. So now he's got another 10 days, right? Because we had the mini bye. Mike, what do you think about this game coming up Sunday? So we got Lions, Bears, their offensive line against our defensive line, and their stellar running game. Because did you guys watch the Detroit game?
Yeah.
Monty, 75-yard run. I think that was a career long.
He stepped out.
He stepped out. Mike, I'll go to you. What are you looking at for this game on Sunday with their run offense and our run defense?
I think we'll stop the run. I just want us to be competitive.
Hey, Yoli.
I don't want to see a blowout. We need Justin. He's got 7 games left to show he's the guy. This would be a good game to show. Even if we lose, if we were competitive, that says a lot.
Dan, how about you?
Like a 30-20 score. I think our defense is better.
That might save Eberflus's job too. Demote him.
I hate to say it, I don't think we're gonna win the game.
Nope.
We'll get into predictions on our Sunday show, but look, I think that the Lions right now are obviously the better team. We're kind of where they were last year. They're now entering their window. But the number one run defense against one of the best offensive lines is going to be interesting, and it will be interesting now because with our defensive backfield healthy. How good is Jared Goff's passing game to be? He's going to make some passes, sure, but I don't think they're going to burn the 50-yard pass play with the guy, with everyone back and healthy. So it's going to be interesting now. Defensively, their defense versus our offense, their defense probably has the edge by almost a country mile. And I attribute a lot of that to Luke Getsy's piss poor offensive scheme because the players seem to have the talent. They're just not properly using the talent. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Now, a guy who's going to be different than all four of us, gentlemen, is main event Mike from Detroit Lions
Yeah,
fan
this
base
fucking
and
guy.
main event 365.
Hey,
guy
man,
don't
you
come on
guys should have
today.
heard this morning.
The
They were
guy don't
trash
come on
talking.
all year, and then
I
he
thought it
wants to
was
come on
Monday.
for a week. Better be nice, Mike. Better be nice.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's a kinder, gentler Mike.
Bullshit.
No, it's I'm kinder and gentler these days. We've run all the Packer fans into their holes, so there's no need to be inflammatory anymore.
Yeah.
Well, if it gets there, Woody, I've always got John Dorn's theme song, which we could just repurpose for Mike.
No, about my intake on this game is we're in trouble. Like I said, my caption, Montgomery has a fire in his ass. They're going against his old team. He's going to get 100 yards. Jamar Gibbs is going to have close to that the way he runs. That's all speed. And even though if the Bears would somely stop the run, then you got St. Brown. They got a guy coming up, Laporta, a great young tight end, and he can make plays. And then they got Reynolds. So they're loaded. And their defense, Aiden Hutchinson is gonna I don't know if you go up against Darnell Wright, but we know what Darnell Wright goes up against a tough defensive lineman. He had 2 holding calls against Max Crosby. So we're in trouble.
But Woody, against Max Crosby, he basically made Max Crosby not exist for the whole game. So
that's all that counts for me.
That's gonna be a fun matchup. I mean, so Woody, you're saying that they're gonna basically rush for 200 yards.
I let me tell you, and then Goff doesn't have to throw. They're gonna manage the game by rushing. That's just plain and simple. Plain and simple. Like I said, if they stop the run, St. Brown's going to unload because who can really stop St. Brown? Mike, and quote me, last year was ranked number 1 in wide receiver. Is St. Brown?
No, not that I know of.
PFF?
No, number 1 in the division. No, not even behind Justin Jefferson. I don't think so. I don't recall him being number 1 ever.
I thought then I heard wrong then. But who the hell can cover him?
You got to put Jalen on him.
He's tough, but I think
that's what I'm afraid of.
To Ken's point, we really don't have that deep threat, that outside the numbers X receiver that can stretch the field. That's what we wanted J-Mo to be. He just hasn't panned out to be that yet. Mm-hmm. We will see Donovan Peoples-Jones perhaps in this game. Maybe he's that receiver we need to burn you guys deep. But if I'm not mistaken, don't the Bears have like one of the top-ranked rush defenses?
Well, yeah, they're number 1 on yards per rush.
Yeah,
but
David Montgomery, like you said, he's already made it very clear that he has had this one circled on the calendar all year. And when that guy's pissed off, you guys know, I mean, I remember Ken telling me in the offseason, you got a good one there. You're going to like this guy. And boy, do we like him here.
And hopefully,
I tell you what I think is going to be the real telling tale of this game is the defensive pressure. If the Lions can put it on Justin Fields, if they can get a pass rush, they haven't had a pass rush all year. 4.5 sacks by Aiden Hutchinson. The rest of the entire team has 4.5 sacks. So I just a defensive lineman, that is. If we can get pressure on Justin Fields, and if we're able to run the ball, the Lions should win this game. What I'm really looking for is the Lions defense to come out smothering and swarming like they did in a few games this year, like in Lambeau, when we played Atlanta, when we played Carolina. In the first half, essentially, those games were over because our offense is high-powered and we were putting the clamps down on defense. If Chicago can hang with us through the first half, this is going to be an interesting game, I think.
What Detroit can't have happen, fellas, is they can't have what happened last week against the Chargers, where basically that game came down to, whoever had the ball last, and that's legit how that game ended. Detroit happened to have the ball last, so they could kick a walk-off field goal. But that game they couldn't stop anything. And Dan, as we're looking, I mean, Mike says a lot of good things there about how this game could go, but my problem is this: I don't trust Luke Getz. I don't trust Getsy at all. I don't
No.
think he can game plan to save his life on offense.
Nope.
And that basically this Lions defense is going to create a ton of pressure on Fields because ROC can't scheme for shit.
I
Well,
remember the last game we played against the Lions. What was it? 41 to
31-10.
yeah.
Yeah, but we had a shitty defense back then. Now we got a pretty decent defense.
well, see, I like I said, I think David Montgomery is going to have a fire in his last, and if he runs 75 yards, I guarantee he won't step out of bounds like he did on Sunday.
I mean, and Jay Jakeway here says the Bears aren't close to the same skill level as the Chargers.
Mike, I love you,
Well,
Mike.
Jay, that's true on some level, but not true on all levels. The Bears have a ton of talent on this team, and I think to all of us on here, on the Bears side at least, and maybe even main event, Mike will tell you that ROC is I think I don't know how he's got a job still. If you watched the Vikings Bears game when Fields got hurt, the very first play for the line of scrimmage was a get seat special, and Justin Fields got destroyed.
Yep.
That ROC sucks. I think we got talent. We definitely got talent running back. We got some talented wide receivers. We got a talented tight end. The O line and even main event, Mike will probably shake in agreement with this. Look, they give Fields 6 to 7 seconds. That's not a bad O line if you can give your quarterback 6 to 7 seconds. So what's the problem here? So Mike, I mean, you talk a lot of football with us from an outsider, from a Detroit fan base. Is it my OC? Is he the trash I say he is, or are my players just falling short?
Well, your roster's thin. I think they're overachieving. They've added a few pieces, but everybody on this panel knows that the Bears are challenged when it comes to their roster and their roster depth. So I think they're doing pretty well considering that, really. Ryan Poles is crushing it, I believe. I think he's setting you guys up for the future. He's setting up the salary cap to be nice and fluid as players are leaving, new ones are coming in. I think 100% he cleans house at the end of the year. Eberflus is gone. Getsy's gone. Patrick Graham is gone. That's what I believe.
So, bear down, Mike. Let's talk depth. I mean, we know we're short on it. The
Yes.
O-line overall protects well. We're getting some O-line help back off the IR this week. Nate Davis is back. So, I mean, that's going to help with the depth. What more, how much deeper do we still need to be on this O-line before we can say, okay, we're there?
We need another. I don't think Braxton Jones is the guy. We need another left tackle, and we addressed that in the draft. Cody Whitehair, he's going to be benched against the Lions. He's not starting. That's going to be a big help. We need another center because Lucas Patrick, Jesus, you roll the damn ball to your quarterback. Come on, man, like terrible. So we still got a couple pieces we need to get.
Yeah, Dan, I like Whitehair being more the rotational piece because he's been a solid lineman for us since the day he got here. This might be better for him about being more rotational. Patrick, he's been I don't want to say steady because his snaps have been his blocking's been better than his snapping. I mean, is that what we're looking at for this Bears team? Because look, the protection's good overall. Yeah, I don't think any of us have a gripe about that overall. It's the other little things, the drawing the penalties, the rolling the ball to the quarterback. I mean, Dan, how many more guys do we get a left tackle in the center? I mean, where are we at right now?
Get left tackle either through the draft or through free agency.
And
in center.
When I go to main event, Mike, let me go back to Woody. Woody, last year Jones was like tearing it up as a rookie. This year he's had some problems. Is it just a sophomore slump, or or are we looking for already a replacement after 2 years?
Yeah, he's done. Like I said, last year when I went to the Giants game and we were down by 7 and Jones fumbled the ball on the punt.
No, not Bayless Jones.
Oh,
Braxton.
Tackle Jones.
Braxton. Jesus Christ.
Bayless Jones, he's gone.
Bayless is gone.
Yeah, I hope so. Braxton Jones, yeah, like I agree with Mike. It's not he's not the answer. I mean, everybody got all excited when he was off the IR and shit like that. We need, like I said, more depth on that offensive line. I think the only depth we have that's good is our linebackers and maybe defensive backfield. But I'm the only one that thought this before. I don't think we're extending and Johnson. I don't think he's going to be on the team. Jalen Johnson. I really don't.
Yeah, we'll see where the money is. I don't now, Mike. For you guys are riding high right now. You're what, 7-2. So you're looking down at the Bears. We've won what, 3 games. I would call this a trap game for you guys.
Oh no.
No, I think we're 9.5-point favorite.
8 now. 8 now.
It's a division game. I don't think a division game can be a trap game. I mean, it comes down to what is your definition of a trap game. I don't think a division game can be a trap game in my definition of a trap game. But to your point, what you were saying a minute ago, wasn't Braxton Jones the one bright spot on the O-line last year?
He was.
I remember you guys praising him. And, I mean, he's not going to be expensive. Isn't he a great piece to keep on this team?
Yeah,
Even
he'll
if
be a
he's a
depth.
wing tackle or a reserve offensive lineman.
Yeah, this is only the second year he's been in the league. He was a rookie last year. So
Right.
I don't think he's done. I don't know. We'll see how he shows the next 7 games.
You still have control of his contract, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah.
why are we talking about him being gone next year when this guy's going to be with you for the next 2 years? Even if it's his backup role, he played well enough last year. He'd get another job in the NFL somewhere. Some of these guys you had on that line last year are out of football because they weren't good enough to make another team. You bring in Nate Davis, right? You draft Darnell, right? You guys are putting some pieces together. And I think Braxton Jones, I'm really surprised to hear you guys say that about him.
Well, like I
ahead.
said, it's the whole offensive line. We're leading the league in full starts. How the hell can you be leading the league in full starts? And
that's coaching.
Absolutely. And now you're going to Detroit where it's loud. It's going to be loud. So watch those penalties and full starts on our offensive line.
So it was loud at the game I was at in NOLA. And the penalties weren't – the first quarters were most of our penalties weren't. After that, the Bears kind of settled in. So because we've had the NOLA experience, I think for the Ford Field experience, because NOLA's louder.
Yeah,
and that's one of the loudest places in the league to play.
Yeah, we're fucked.
I don't know if that's going to be as much of a factor after having played in the Superdome, but yeah, I agree. I think that it's going to be problematic for the Bears being at the Lions. Honestly, when I look at the Lions, this is a game that they should win, right? If you're a Lions fan, I know we got a bunch in the comments here because we're on Main Event tonight as well, and their page in the Villain Squad page because it's a war week. This is a game that you expect your team to win, and you should win.
Absolutely.
And as Bears fans, we're sitting here going, yeah, you should win it, but let's see if we can figure out a way where we could get one over on you and steal.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, but you remember how they played against the Commanders when leading up to that game all week, all the media was, Eberflus gone. Oh, the Bears, and this is when I learned this little tidbit, the Bears have never fired a coach mid-season and all that was going on. And they came out. If that Chicago Bears team shows up, they could beat just about anybody, don't you think?
Well,
I mean,
I got
on fire that night.
I'm going to piggyback off you, Mike. Do you think we have a chance if Detroit plays like they did against Baltimore?
Absolutely. I mean, or if you play like you did against Commanders, we always say it's so cliche, right? Any given Sunday, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But the fact is, this is a division game. There's a lot of pride involved. Believe me, those Bears players haven't forgot 31-10 from last year. Okay. It's going to be, it could be a dogfight. And that's why I reiterate this. I think the first half is going to be crucial. What kind of start do the Bears get off to against this defense in Ford Field? And, every bit as loud as the Superdome. I've actually been to games in both of those buildings, and Ford Field rivals that every day of the week.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Mike, because Getsy and Eberflus do not make adjustments second half. I think the first half would be competitive. Second half, we're going to get blown out of the water.
Yeah, so if you guys get off to a slow start and we're swarming you like we have in some of these games, it's going to be a long day for the Bears.
Yep.
I think if the offense doesn't do jack nor shit in the first half, or if the offense doesn't do jack shit the entire game, this could be Getsy's last game, and this goes into the part of Flus saving his job for one more year. Because if you look at when I look at Eberflus, worst run defense in the league last year, now the best. The defense has done a huge, almost a complete 180. I think if the Bears offense does not move, he's just going to point the finger right at his OC, give him the "you're fired," maybe not with the knife hands, but give him the "you're fired," hire a new one. That's going to save his job for the year.
Hey,
For at least one more year.
Even Yannick had a sack last week. I was happy. He's actually on the field.
Yeah, the defense. That's the thing too. This is going to be defensively, the toughest offense that we've faced in the Montez Sweat era. Because look at this Lions offense is better than NOLA. It's better than Carolina. Realistically, this will be a great test to see, or one of the bigger tests to see, I think, if we re-sign Yannick or not.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I really don't.
I think
we get an edge rusher in the draft, a young one. I really do.
Mike will know. Mike's been following main event. Mike's been following this more than I think I have.
Mike, I'm sorry, but I got to thank Mike. Mike, are you there? Main event, Mike.
Yeah, I'm here. My phone's dying. I got to go grab the charger. I can hear you though.
Before you go, I got to thank you for beating the shit out of Penn State. I appraise you right now, bud.
I know you were rooting for it.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
So, I think if you look at this draft class, edge rushers in this draft class are kind of weird.
I don't know, man. That JT from Ohio State watches highlights. So it'd be phenomenal if we get two guys or two of our top picks from Ohio State.
Ray, if you're talking about your Lions not doing more, I love that pickup that Detroit had of Peoples-Jones, because I've never heard Peoples-Jones's name associated with anything bad in a game.
Hey, and they picked up Bruce Irvin today.
Yeah, Bruce Irvin,
the 56-year-old, but he's probably still good.
Yeah, I think the Lions did well. The only team that really didn't do much at the trade deadline was what, the Vikings?
Well, they got Josh.
Everybody on this panel, and quote me, right, picked Minnesota to finish dead last in this division because of their defense.
I did.
Look at them.
Y'all did.
Yeah, they got rid of everybody.
Unbelievable.
So we give kudos to Flores then.
Absolutely.
Well, he's as advertised, isn't he?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. At the trade deadline, Green Bay was the only team not to add in the division. Every other team in the division added something Green Bay sold.
And they actually got rid of their good cornerback, Douglas, too.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. This game this week,
we're dead.
Mike, main event, Mike, you guys should win this one. I don't think you guys are going to run the table, win out the rest of the season. I think you got maybe 2 losses in you, maybe 3. If week 18 is a garbage week, they might phone it in. I don't know. Let the second tier guys go and not waste your starters. That kind of scenario. But it's going to be interesting this week. And we get you, what, twice in 3 weeks?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we got them
2
after
games
the bye.
in between. No, so it'd be twice in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Twice in 4 weeks. Because we got the bye.
Yeah, because of the Thanksgiving game, it kind of is on a Thursday. That kind of skews it, but it's twice in 4 weeks.
No, you got a tough schedule. You got, what, 5 division games of your 8?
I think that translates to an easier schedule this year.
I don't know. I think it's harder to beat a team twice in short proximity than to beat a team at week 3 and then at week 17. But if you face them in week 15 and then face them at week 18, I think it's a little bit harder to win both games.
What's definitely hard is to win 3 games against one team in a season. With Minnesota rising behind us and we get them week 16 and 18, if they make the playoffs, that would be a third matchup with the Vikings against the Lions. I don't like that. That scares me.
This is what's going to happen. You're going to win a playoff game, then you're going to go and beat Philly. That's all I ask.
Wow. Wow. And while we're giving out thanks, Woody, I want to thank you also. 1995, gold Trans Am. I'm on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. You get pulled over. I get pulled over. You dumped out my bag of weed and let me go. So I appreciate it.
No, I didn't dump it out. I took it for myself.
Oh,
Yeah, what are you talking about? There was a party at Halas Hall later for that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, good. This will be a fun game this week. Looking at the comments, we got a little bit of Bears and some Lions guys going there, talking about how we got rid of Roquan. I think that was a great move for the Bears in the end. It was a good move for both Roquan and for the Bears. Roquan,
He didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be a Bear anymore.
Yeah, and the two linebackers we picked up plus Sanborn have been really good this year.
Yep.
Sanborn needs to stay at the middle linebacker.
Yeah,
Do not
Sanborn,
move him. Keep him where he's at.
Yep.
Move Tremaine to the outside linebacker.
And Ray says that Roquan balling, and he is. In that Baltimore defense, he is balling with Queen and those other guys. So it's a good. I think that was one of those situations that was good for everyone. Like everyone won in that situation. The Bears saved the money. Were able to pick up two guys, well, basically almost three guys for what Roquan cost. But then they were able to fix more of their defense, and with three guys versus just Roquan. And no doubt Roquan's balling. I still got three Roquan helmets here.
Well,
but his situation in Baltimore, that team is more ready to win now than we are.
Yeah, Roquan's probably happy because his offense can score points.
Yeah. Now, Mike, you're shaking your head no. So, what are your thoughts?
That's because Roquan Smith wanted $20 million a year. He went to Baltimore and got a 4-year, $80 million contract. That's $20 million a year, exactly what he wanted the Bears to pay him. You let him walk. Khalil Mack wanted $23 million a year. You wouldn't pay him. He walked. He's a pro, not only a Pro Bowler, but an all-pro defensive end.
Khalil.
Now wait a minute. Now Montez Sweat comes in and you give him 24.5. And he's never had double-digit sacks. I got to question that. Roquan wanted $20 million. He's arguably the best sideline-to-sideline linebacker I've ever seen besides Brian Urlacher, probably. This guy could be a Hall of Famer. Does Roquan make the Hall of Fame if he continues on the trajectory he is? And you guys let him walk for a mere $20 million.
Well, we didn't let him walk. We got draft capital out of him, and we got draft capital out of Mack. Mack's contract was killing us, and that was probably – He's been okay with the Chargers, but minus 1 6-sack game against the Raiders. He's been okay.
He's a stud, you know it.
But and the reason I was
shaking my head no is because he didn't want to be a Bear thing. If you'd have gave him 4 years, $80 million, he would have stayed.
Well, that's just at the time. At the time, the Bears weren't willing to do that, and that's not how they wanted to build the team. And for the money they gave Roquan, we went out and got two linebackers to make, to fill the need, and they've been filling that need.
Not true. Add up Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards' contracts is close to $70 million.
TJ's been worth the money, though.
Yeah, TJ Edwards, he's been up there leading tackles every week, and he's
number one in the. He was number one in the league.
He's outstanding. I said it at the beginning of the year. That's 100 tackles a game you just brought onto your team, or 100 tackles a year, and he's already over the 100 tackle mark.
Yeah, he actually he broke the franchise record.
No doubt.
He broke it.
Let's not glaze over it and
Mike,
say that you got those two guys for the same price as Roquan, because that's just not true.
Mike, what you just said though, Roquan was 4 years, 80. We got Edwards and Edmonds for 70. Throw Sanborn in. He's not even at 10. So I've got those three guys for less money than just what Roquan costs.
No, Sanborn was an undrafted free agent.
That's what I'm
saying.
Cost
you a bag of chips. And you
exactly.
Roquan.
And he's still good.
He's very good.
But
you guys are great at developing linebackers.
That's what we're saying, Mike. For us this is a win-win. For Roquan and Baltimore was a win. They're happy. For the Bears, it's a win because they were rebuilding. They put three guys in the linebacking core for less than what Roquan cost, and they could still build more, which they're doing. No, I get what you're saying about Montez Sweat, but once again, now you're talking little apples and oranges. Sweat's a defensive edge. Roquan's a linebacker. the defensive edge market's a lot different than the linebacker
That's
market.
true. That is true.
To
That is true,
piggyback
but it
about-
doesn't translate to sacks in the box score.
to piggyback on TJ Edwards, I don't know if you guys know, he broke the franchise record. He had 110 tackles in 10 games. No other Bear ever did that.
Amazing. Definitely. That was a great pickup.
Yep.
But you paid for him. You paid top dollar. The top of his market value you paid.
And
I'm
so,
glad because I hate the fucking Eagles.
yeah, for a rebuilding standpoint, it made sense for the Bears. Actually, Ray Moore has a good comment. Talking about your team, and I don't know if he's betting on himself this week or not, because we know J-Mo likes to bet at the casinos in Detroit. Will he have a breakout? Or no, he doesn't need to go to the casinos. He just does it from the facility.
He just calls Calvin Ridley. That's all he does.
Yeah, right.
Will J-Mo have a breakout game this weekend?
We don't know. We just give our opinions every weekend. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? All I know is Detroit's going to win 34-15. That's
Wow.
Wow.
Sorry.
I think
said
that defense is
30-20.
good enough to hold Detroit down from what they did last year. I'm going to say 28-10.
All right, since we're getting to predictions, Dan, how about you?
I gotta say Lions 27-13.
I'll go. I'm going to say Lions 28, and I'll give the Bears. God, I don't know.
We're going to play that John Dorn music soon.
I'll give him 18. Yeah, no, I'll give him 18. I'll say a touchdown and a couple field goals.
Okay, 28-18. The line is 9.5. So everyone on this panel
Mike,
but Bear Down Mike has picked the Bears or the Lions. That scares me because everyone's usually wrong.
Hey, Mike, they downed it. It's now 8-point favorite.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
See, I see some like what Xavier writes here, or let's see, Eric says, I could go with those as well if it depending on which Getsy shows up. If we get the Getsy that called the game against the Vikings a couple weeks ago, I will be lucky to get a field goal. If we get the Getsy that showed up on Thursday Night Football against the Redskins and called a pretty damn good game, this could be a fun game.
Let me reiterate this, okay? I know about Washington. Everybody thinks it's Getsky. Did you see Justin Fields passing against Washington? He would throw to the receiver on where they should be, not where they're at. He's got to do that again. It's not Getsky.
It's a big game from DJ. DJ's got to have a big game with Justin coming back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to attack that secondary. That's their weakness, is that secondary.
Is Gardner playing on Sunday, Mike?
No.
Oh.
Better news for us.
Woo. Yeah, it's still 34-15. Sorry.
30-20.
Like I said, I figure we might get a touchdown. We might get a rushing touchdown. But after that, it's Chris Santos' time. Let him he'll kick a few goals because the offense can move a little. What I'm thinking though, I don't think the Lions are going to beat us on the run game. I think they're going to beat us on the short dinks and the yards after the catch kind of stuff. I think they'll have a decently effective run game, but it's not going to be like a 250-yard day for them. Because the run defense is good, but it's not. They'll still, because of their run, how they commit to the run. I think they'll get a lot of little dink doink screens, yards after the catch, and that'll open up some stuff for them that might, maybe some 15, 20-yard plays passing wise. And they've got a good shot of doing that.
I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to have 2 sacks.
T-Rex doesn't have long enough arms to get a sack.
I think we'll keep a hold
Aiden Hutchinson is going to have 2 sacks.
I think Amon-Ra we can stop. I'm worried about Laporta, the young tight end.
A stud.
I think he's going to tear us apart.
Yeah, he's a he's a good.
So and Xavier says that Detroit will slay the run game because they have Mont and Gibbs out there. Okay, yeah, I get that. We've got a 3-headed monster running back trio. That's
Herbert
that's
coming
hard
back
to contain. Remember though, we know Monty, right? Monty knows us. I think though, if you look, this Bears defense is allowing the least yards per carry for a running back, I think we'll stymie the run game some. I'm not saying we're going to end it, but stymie it just enough where that passing game that with Detroit is going to have to put some points on the board.
I want somebody to try to figure this out because I don't know how it's going to get figured out. Two sets of brothers are playing against each other this game. The Sewells and the St. Browns.
Yeah, but isn't Equiminius? He's out, right? He's injured reserve.
No, he's
back.
He got
Oh,
cleared.
is he back?
He's
Yep.
cleared.
Yeah, he's back.
Do you remember? I wonder if somebody can find that out. If ever two sets of brothers ever played against each other in the same game.
They have.
They have.
It was
Kelsey's
Rondé and
Super Bowl.
Tiki.
Yeah.
Rondé and Tiki. And
Yeah, I mean, two sets of brothers. Like you got this Sewell's brothers.
Two sets.
Two sets.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of it right now. It was Tampa and the Giants, and it was Rondé and Tiki against. Shit.
And if you
I'm going to say it.
Warriors,
You're going to
if
go,
you
oh,
can
yeah,
find
that's
it.
right. It might have been Chris Sims and Matt Sims. I don't know.
Wasn't Tremaine Edmonds' brother? I think it's Terrell, played for the Steelers, and him and the Bills. I don't something there maybe.
Yeah, they both played at Virginia Tech, I believe.
This comment here from Xavier, dude, Ben Johnson, I have a lot of respect for him, but he
Ben
hasn't made
Johnson's our new coach.
Monty's Monty, man. Monty's doing the same thing for you, the exact same way he did it for us. That 75-yarder was a career best for him, but his rub even in Chicago was he didn't have that burst, that breakout speed, to pull off those long ones all the time. But Monty's playing just as well for you guys as he did for us. And Ben Johnson hasn't changed Monty at all. Monty's just that good.
I think it's our offensive line is the big difference. Because David Montgomery is, again, first in the league in yards after contact, just like he was with the Bears.
Yep.
So he hasn't changed. Ben Johnson using him really not that exclusively, not like he's moving Jahmyr Gibbs around in the way he's creating plays for everyone. Ben Johnson called an incredible game last week as an offensive coordinator. I mean, masterful. Misdirection, fake pitch. I mean, everything was deception, window dressing at the line of scrimmage. I thought he just called a fantastic game, but it's that offensive line. David Montgomery had to be licking his chops coming to Detroit to run behind that line.
Hey, Mike, main event, Mike. My question is, what are the odds of Detroit letting Ben Johnson go to be a head coach somewhere?
That's a great question, and that's one that's been circulating around, and we just don't know. I think that's all going to be determined by how far this team goes this year. Right. I mean, I think he did the right thing, not just for my Lions, but probably for himself as a young coach to give himself another year and experience a year like this for the Lions that's going to make him better prepared to be a head coach. So I think that's one of those things that's pure speculation. I mean, who wouldn't go take a head coaching job in the NFL, unless it's the Bears. But anywhere, there's going to be some nice jobs.
What the fuck? Yeah, cut him out, man. I can't believe he put that in there like that.
I love this Ray Moore comment. This is what I love about Lions fans this year because look, they're full of vigor and they should be. They should be happy because for the first time in 30 years they could possibly win a playoff game. David Montgomery was good before he was a Lion. Him becoming a Lion, Ray, did not make him good or better. Montgomery is doing Montgomery things like he's always done. He's just doing them on a better team.
Well, I think he's doing good. Like he was a good player. He was good at breaking tackles for us because we didn't have any holes or alignment. Now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have to break any tackles really. He's in the second level already.
All right, looks like main event. Mike froze. So I put him in the back for a bit. Up there we go.
Maybe his phone died.
Yeah, he lost the connection.
Yeah, well, I was interested in asking about that Ben Johnson.
I was too. I was saying the same thing, Woody, because I think he's a guy. They might lose some coordinators, so they almost have a win it all. Now, look, if they don't win it all this year, they got some decisions to make. They've drafted well. They've signed well in Detroit. I really like what they've done with their franchise. I'm wondering if they don't get there this year. I don't think they were in all-in mode this year, but I think I would think they'd be in all-in mode next year.
Speaking of OCs, Buffalo released Ken Dorsey. Why can't we do the same?
Well, see, the thing is that that's the rumor I heard all fucking day today, is that we're gonna get Getsky or get rid of him and sign Dorsey. That's worse. Worse.
I don't want to sign Ken Dorsey. I'm just saying, why can't we do that with Getsy, like the Bills did with Ken Dorsey?
We all
because
know
Bills have something. Bills have something to play for, even though they're having a rough season, not as good as they thought they were going to be. But they have to do something to get into that playoffs this year. That's why I'm thinking that we're keeping these coaches. It's because we have no chance. Might as well get them rid of them at the end of the year and see who's available.
So I've been seeing more and more articles, because you guys know how much I love all the clickbait out there. But I've been seeing more and more articles where a few weeks ago, Flus is fired. Flus is fired to Poles isn't firing Flus at all.
Yeah, I heard that.
He's not going after a quarterback in the draft.
I heard that.
The only person who I think is really truly on the hot seat right now is Getsy. I think Flus is safe because of what he's done with the defense, and I think that we're good at the quarterback position based off of some other progression we've seen this year. It may not have translated into wins, but there's been other progressions, like the Washington game, that 3-week period where he was legit the best quarterback in the league by numbers. That's why I think we're going wide receiver, and then we start in the trenches. Whereas the Lions, it's going to be interesting to see if they fall short, which I don't know how they match up against Dallas. I don't know how they match up against the Eagles or San Francisco in the NFC, for example. If they fall short, what they're going to do, because I think, and Lions fans, correct me if I'm wrong, they got a pretty good chunk of change. We have the most next year at over 100 million again, or I think now we're at 80 or just over 90 after the Sweat signing. But I think the Lions have about 60 million. They could make some splashes next year. I don't think they have too much to re-sign either.
Well, we're
not really here for Buffalo, but yes, they are kind of a sliding downhill, and so Cincinnati.
Yeah. I wanted to, before the end of the show, going back to Carolina's, the Carolina game last week, I was going to do my stud and duds.
Yeah, let's do that.
My stud is Kyler Gordon. Had a hell of a game. And my fucking dud is our punter.
God.
First of all, he's worse than net yardage in the league. Second of all, does he know how to fucking tackle?
No.
Did you see his tackle attempt?
Oh, that was terrible.
On that punt return?
Of course, it's on Marset, who we released last season.
Right, yeah. Gil, get some balls. You have a vagina. Fucking tackle.
Dan, who do you got for studs and duds, Dan?
See, he was going to pick my guy. Yeah, I thought you.
Studs gotta be between TJ Edwards and Donta Freeman.
Both the studs. Okay, so 2 studs. What about a dud?
It's got to be the punter. I can't.
Oh man, this copycat. Dan, you want to beat me, right? You want to have some hair on your head like me, and now you're picking my players.
Mike, what about you? Studs and duds for last week. I know you're not used to doing it, so I'm putting you on the spotlight. Wait, I'm going to put you so much on the spotlight. Wait a minute. There you go. Bear down Mike's guest appearance.
Hey, comb your hair. Yeah, we're very formal. You got to start combing your hair for the show.
Yeah, come on.
Actually, I'm going to cut it this weekend. My stud is Montez Sweat. What do you have? 8 pressures?
7.
7.
The most.
Creating sacks for the other guys, for Yannick and Green. Then my dud. No, I'm not taking yours, Woody.
Damn.
I'm gonna say Cole Kmet. It wasn't as productive.
Okay. I'm gonna start with a dud. my dud, and he should have been my dud the game prior too. My dud is DJ Moore. Just
Really?
because, look, I get the scheme sucks, but DJ, you're a phenomenal receiver. Find ways to get open, dude. Find ways to get open. You're still top 6 or 7 in the league right now, but if you know your OC's not doing it for you, you need to find ways to get open. And the last 2 weeks, he's had some pretty big mistakes, drops. Not to include the fumble in Nola. So DJ Moore is my dud just because, dude, you're the big number one. You need to find a way, and you're not. My stud, I'm gonna go with the Bears secondary. All of them were back. They were healthy.
Like that, right?
And you could tell.
Are you
And they were
including Eddie
up
on
the
that one?
line. They were making plays. They were pass defenses were there. That the Bears secondary were my studs for the game. And that, yeah, I mean, I can see we definitely need a new punter. I think we'll just find one in the offseason. I hear
Isn't
Woody
Pat
might be trying
O'Connell
out.
free agent?
What's that?
Isn't
I
Pat
heard you might be
O'Connell
trying out
free
to be our
agent?
new punter.
Pat O'Connell's a free agent, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know Green Bay released him. He's
Quick
definitely better
question
than
here.
Trent
No,
So
Pat
Xavier
O'Donnell.
Woods-
Pat O'Donnell played for somebody else this year, and
Yeah,
they
he was
released him.
the Packers, and then they cut him. They cut him, didn't they?
They cut him
Packers,
last
yeah.
year. He was on a new team this year,
That's right.
and they got cut.
Yeah. Xavier, we're on every Wednesday at 7:30 Central. Every
When Dan
Sunday at
decides
11:30.
to show up,
Every Sunday at 11:30 in the morning for pregame, and then we actually do stream the games as well for the Bears games. So yeah, if you're Lions fans, hey, we love to have you. And even in the weeks we're not playing you, if you just want, you might be watching the Lions game on your TV, and you can have the Bears game on your computer. I'll do that too from time to time. I'll have other division games on. But yeah, it's just like, this is going to be one of those games this week. The Lions they should win by all rights. They should. But I think what main event Mike said was spot on. If we show up, we have enough quality on this team to make it a very fun game, or possibly even sneak out a W. But
what I gotta say is, if we have any chance, we need to come out red hot.
well, if we have any chance, okay, any chance, is that our defensive line has got to be in pressures every play. We can't just back off on. We're the worst third down defense in the league.
Yeah.
So I rather have us be in 3rd and 3 than 3rd and 15 because teams always make it.
yeah,
3rd and 15.
yeah. My thought. I agree with you on that, Woody. It's been that way. And offensively, I want them to unshackle Fields a little bit. Let's see some of the Fields we saw last year with the RPOs, design run plays. I don't want him to have to be running for his life. I want to see a scheme that's going to get more out of Kmet, Mooney, and DJ Moore. That's going to get them open, crossing routes, picks, whatever you want to call them, some different wheels. Just sending DJ Moore on a go route doesn't work for me anymore.
Speaking of a go route, I expect Tyler Scott to get his first touchdown.
Yeah, that dude's got some speed.
Another
thing is, I know there's DJ Moore and shit like that, but the way Mooney's been playing the last couple of games, we got to get him involved. Hopefully Fields, finds him open like Badgen has been.
Eric, I enjoy your enthusiasm as a Lions fan. That's going to be a really good matchup with Hutch and our number 1 draft pick. That's going to be a really good matchup to watch. I think, talking to some Lions fans, I called them T-Rex earlier because some diehard Lions fans I know, one that was on tonight, were saying, Hutch's arms just aren't long enough to really get, create the sacks. Like, he'll get his 6 or 7 sacks a year, but he's more of a pressure guy than a sack guy because he's more of a T-Rex. He doesn't have the reach. But that's going to be a fun.
And in our passing game, we gotta work the sidelines because Detroit has a young linebacker, Jack Campbell. If you've seen his highlights, he has interceptions and he is quick. Well, Trey, it's good to see that because we've been saying that the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, Dre, to give you an idea, and I don't know if you've heard me say this over the last 2 weeks, but I took my son to his first NFL game and went to the Bears Saints game. We were sitting behind the end zone, up, in the third level, which was great because my son, who was a high school wide receiver, could watch the whole play unfold. And when the Bears would line up, he would, like every play, he's like, oh, it's going to be a pass to the right. It's going to be a pass to the left. This is going to be a run. And he was probably about 98%. So if my high school son, who's a sophomore in high school, can call what the Bears are running when they line up, what do you think any DC worth half their salt is able to do?
You guys think Valus is going to be in, or is he going to be a healthy scratch?
I think we might see him on special teams, unfortunately.
Well, I know. I can't wait to see Darnell Wright versus Hutchinson. I think we need it. Nate Davis is going to be helping there, so that's going to be nice. We're going to need another blocker. Do not put fucking Mercedes Lewis on Hutchinson, and that would be a gutsy thing for him to do.
Well, I know Cole Kmet. He misses a couple of chip blocks as well. So hopefully, when he goes to hit somebody or chip him, he hits them.
We got to call
Eric. Thank you for that. But think about it. He's 16. Most DCs should have a good football IQ, right? But thank you for that. I appreciate that.
This is not hockey that you get signed at 17 years old.
Yeah. But Xavier thinks that we're going to double Hutch. I don't think you necessarily need to double Hutch.
Then we're screwed. They have other defensive linemen as well that get in there.
I mean, we'll see if he has to double team Hutch, but he may not. He's done really well this entire season. I'm not sure what his PFF grade is on top of my head. Greg Rice, who's also a big Lions fan, I'm sure he would have it because he's Mr. PFF. But his PFF grade has been pretty damn good this year. He virtually erased Max Crosby, and I would think Max Crosby is better than Hutchinson.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun matchup to watch. And really, for Lions fans, it should be a good kind of like tail of the tape on Hutchinson, right? I mean, is he a sack guy or is he a pressure guy? I'm leaning more towards more of a pressure guy. I don't think he's ever put up the big sack numbers. I think he's good. But that might be, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So I don't think they have to double Hutch.
Corey Blasingame is back. He's healthy. He's ready to go.
Yeah,
that's going to help. We need that.
Back from the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Is Herbert back?
What's the input on Terrell Smith?
He's back. He's healthy. He's back. He got
because I know he had a sniffle, and for the last 2 weeks.
Sniffle.
Hey, Xavier, I watched your game last week. I don't think they doubled Hutch almost the entire game. I think Hutch had single coverage on him from the Chargers line. He started off hot, but then once again, people started. It's not that people not necessarily focusing more on him or double team. It's like any other player that comes in the league. At first, sometimes they start hot, then they get taped. And as coaches get taped, they say, "Oh, here's how you do this against the guy." But I mean, what are you talking about? What the Bears need to do? I don't think they're going to have to necessarily double team Hutch. Now Darnell Wright.
Now let Darnell go one-on-one with him.
Yeah, I think, and I want that. I want to see how good Darnell is too.
Hopefully, he doesn't get two holding calls called on him.
Well, I'm not too worried about. I'm worried about Braxton Jones protecting Justice's blind side.
I'm worried about these offensive line penalties as well. I mean, Cody Whitehair's benched, so we'll hopefully Nate Davis. We haven't seen him healthy all year, so hopefully he comes in and makes an impact too.
You know it's bad when you take a false start on a kneel down for the win.
Yep.
That is terrible.
So, and guys, and Lions fans, look, I'm going to tell you right now, and all four of us Bear fans will say the same thing. I guarantee you're going to see a bad interception thrown by Fields, and it's going to be something like what we saw in the Tampa game, where it's a blind pass where he puts the ball where someone's supposed to be, like a small dump over the line, and no one's going to be there to catch it for the Bears because that's a Getsy play to call. When I look at a lot of his interceptions over the last 2 years, it's been timing routes where he's supposed to put the ball in X location, and he puts the ball in X location, but the player that's supposed to be there isn't there. So I guarantee you, Lions fans, you're probably going to see one of those this week if bad Getsy shows up.
Oh, Ken, I know what you're trying to say, Ken, but I know Getsky calls the plays and shit like that. But do you think Fields has to throw that ball to where nobody is to get that intercepted?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Because like if I look at the one against Tampa, it was one of those where okay, you're not going to see over the line, just do that little toss over the line, and a tight end is going to be there to get the ball or a running back, whoever was supposed to be there, and they weren't. If I look at the one against the Lions last year, no, he shouldn't have thrown that one. So I would say, though, it's probably like 80-20. Like, yeah, 80% of the time he should still be making that throw because, it's a blind, put the ball where it's supposed to be timing thing. And the other 20%, it's like, okay, it's a put the ball where, but now you have the vision. So I mean, if it's one where he has the vision and he still puts it there, then yeah, you shouldn't. But I'd say 80% of those are, dude, you're not going to know. You just have to let it go and hope that the guy is there like designed. I think that's been the problem with a lot of Getsy's designs.
And I want to stop this rumor right now about we all agree that we're not getting a quarterback in the draft, but Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams last week. Can anybody tell me who won that game?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Yeah.
So let me ask a question.
Was that Caleb crying to his mom? Was that game?
Yeah. I can't own half the USC team, Mom.
So let me ask a question to the Vikings fans and the Bears fans here. Will either of those two quarterbacks end up playing for an NFC North team next year?
Oh,
any NFC North team?
I don't think so. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Green Bay is going to have a top 10 pick, but I think they're committed to Jordan Love for at least another year.
Yep.
And Xavier, you just took the words right out of my mouth. Dobbs has been really impressive so far.
That was a surprise at the trade deadline. I don't know where Arizona was going to go because they were talking about giving up on Kyler Murray. So maybe they're going to get one of these quarterbacks in the first round pick this year.
But if Kyler comes in and wins 3 or 4 games, they might not. They'll say, well, maybe we shouldn't give up on Kyler Murray. But I think
it's because the new Modern Warfare sucks, so he's not playing it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Minnesota is like, well, Dobbs is a free agent. He's on a $2 million contract this year. Cousins is obviously a free agent. I'm just wondering if Kwesi is going to sign one or both.
Well, if I'm telling you this right now, if Dobbs gets the Minnesota to the playoffs,
Dobbs will be there.
They're going to re-sign him. I said something about Tennessee going after a quarterback. They're happy. Will Levis, I mean, he had a bad last game, but that first game throwing over 350 yards. So the Giants maybe. I mean, are they really happy with Daniel Jones, $45 million?
And
would you be? I wouldn't be.
The Patriots maybe. There's talk that the Patriots might be looking for a quarterback.
That was so funny on Sunday with the Patriots. They put Zappy in, and he threw an interception on that last drive. Yeah. You dumb fuck, Belichick.
That's even if Belichick is there next year.
Belichick just signed an extension. He's there.
Yeah, but they can still. You never know. So I don't know a team out there.
Raiders.
Right now that would.
You know what, though?
Max Crosby? This guy does.
I mean, I'll tell you what, though. The Raiders, though, with their coaching situation right now, what's his name?
Antonio Pierce.
I love that. Whoever the intern, I can't remember his name right now.
For who?
For the Raiders.
Oh, Pierce.
Pierce. He is going to be their coach for the next 10 years. Videotape this, record it, play it back in 10 years. The guy is like talking about the Raider way. He grew up a Raider fan. He's like, enough of this bullshit. We're going back to being what the Raiders were when I was a kid. And he was, I mean, yeah, they did just fire their coach, and their interim is what we're talking about, Xavier.
Yep.
dude, they've won 2 games back to back with him. He's got like that Tomlinson kind of grit, and the players love him. And he's like, but he's got that Belichick, I'm going to wear a sweatshirt or a hoodie kind of thing. Like you could just see him and Ice Cube after the game, back in the coach's office, big cigars and a bottle of something. I mean,
Wow.
he just oozes Raider.
That's really graphic, Ken. I'm impressed that you brought that up.
Dude, I've always look at like a lot of Bears fans. I'm also a Raiders fan in the AFC. That's my.
But you know
AFC
what? Me and my boss were talking about this today at work. Max Crosby, he looks like a Raider.
Yeah.
Like it's this he's scary as shit. I don't give a fuck. Everybody's scared of Nick Bosa, shit like that. I'll be scared of Max Crosby coming at me if I was an offensive lineman.
we're gonna look. I think this between Crosby, the interim. I think we're going to start getting back to that Lyle Zato, Howie Long, kick your ass Raiders kind of
Bly Nichols,
dreads of society team.
And then we'll get Bly Nichols back and we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
No, we don't want him back. No.
Come on, I do.
Xavier, what's Crosby's contract situation? Anyone know?
I think he's got 2 more years.
Yeah, he's from Detroit too.
Yeah, Xavier, I think, I mean, that would be cool for him to come home, but I don't think it's going to be the next. I think, hold on a second.
They have too much talent anyway, man.
3 more years. Dude, by that point, you guys are out of your window. I think you might be out of your window by that point. I think, unless the Raiders are going to strip down to nothing, I think he's a Raider for his career.
Yeah, he fits in well there, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he's just. Now, here, look at. I think there's an interesting thing with the Lions. If they don't win it all, and if the 49ers, I think the 49ers are all in this year, right? Young is a rental because I don't think they have the money cap wise to do everything they got to do and keep Young. I think Chase Young next year ends up in the NFC North, and I think if the Lions have them, I think he could end up in Detroit, or he could end up in Chicago.
I don't know. If him and Nick Bosa work out well, I'm telling you,
we're gonna have to shred some money.
That's Absolutely. The thing, though. It depends on the 49ers' money situation. If they can't afford to bring him, I think if Detroit wants to go all in, Chase Young becomes the new Marion Hossa, right? Marion Hossa played in the Stanley Cup 3 years in a row with 3 different teams. I think Chase Young could be this guy who might get to the Super Bowl this year with the Niners. And if the Lions don't get there and the Niners would say win it, and they can't pay Young, then someone else is going to pay him. And I think it's going to be the NFC North because at $20 million, if you can get him for $20 million, he's only $10 million more than Yannick. And if you're the Lions, and you want to go all in, you've got the money, you could be the thing is, with the Lions over the top.
Would Chase want to play with the Lions or play with his old buddy Justin Fields?
I don't know. I think he wants to stay and play with his old buddy Nick Bosa.
If that was an option, I would stay too.
Hey, he really wants this. Turkessa wants us to know that Max Crosby wants to play the Lions so much he did all in caps to yell at us.
They're yelling at me. I'm sorry, man.
He's under contract.
Right.
And he's got 3 more years on his contract.
If he ever goes to the Lions, it'd be towards the end of his career.
Well, hold on, maybe not. If the Lions were willing to give a shit ton of draft capital, they could.
You got to give some players up. You got to give some players up. They're going to want that percentage of what Crosby makes on that defense back.
Because a first rounder from Detroit, the Raiders aren't stupid. Like, they're not going to just want a first rounder because they know it's going to be back end of the draft. So they're not going to want just a first rounder for you. They're going to want a first rounder this year, next year, and a player or two. Maybe. I don't even think that might get it done. Maybe. I don't know.
If we offered them first this year, first next year, and Eddie Jackson, you think the Raiders would let us get Crosby?
Because our draft picks aren't going to be worth it this year. But for the Lions, the only way the Lions are going to see him in the Super Bowl window they're entering right now is probably via a trade. And I don't.
It feels.
Yeah, any given Sunday.
That's
Um,
2000.
3-14,
Yeah,
yeah.
3-14.
and we were in
So
like 7 of those games to win. Our
Hey,
defense.
another question I was thinking about today in my head, and I don't know if you guys agree. If Washington does bad this year, would you want Ron Rivera coming and coach in Chicago?
I'm done with defensive coaches.
you know what my problem with Rivera is?
Oh, I take that back. Only person I would take is Tomlin.
That's my pick, baby.
That's what
But
I
they're
would
doing
want.
good. They're doing good now, Pittsburgh. So
And Kenny
I
Pickett looks like
like
shit.
here's the thing with Ron Rivera. It's hard not to like him. The players love him. The fans love him. Ownership loves him. Everyone loves Ron Rivera, and rightfully so. His teams are always, even when they suck, they're still good. But the problem is when he's good, they're never great. Like he's had a lot of really good. He's done. He doesn't get many losing records, right? But the problem is like he doesn't win a lot of playoff games either.
He went to a Super Bowl.
So Izzy says no commander coaches. Listen, if the enemy says he wants to come,
I'll take.
I'll take him.
the enemy. Look
I'll
at Sam
take
Howell. He's doing fabulous.
I'll take. He's getting sacked fabulously too.
At least he throws a damn ball. Justin
But you know
likes
what's
to hold
funny
it.
is the Commanders got rid of their best two defensive weapons and they won last week.
Yeah, that's
So
all.
here's-
Isn't that how it always works?
Yeah.
Here's a
Oh.
question for you guys. I want to ask about the OC. If Getsy's gone, do we trust Eberflus going after an OC?
No, I'd let Poles pick him.
You let Poles do it?
Absolutely.
I think you need. I agree with Woody. I would say this would be something where the GM and the president
Yeah.
would both have to be involved because
Well,
he might.
I would just say Poles because our president says he doesn't know football. So.
No. What's his name from that we just pulled in for the
Oh, Warren.
Warren?
Oh, okay. I'm talking about McCaskey.
Oh no, not
He doesn't know
McCaskey.
anything
I
about
think it's
football.
Warren. I think Warren. Hey, have a good. Xavier says have a good night. Have a good night, Xavier. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Stop by again. I think Warren and Poles have him because I think with Warren, you might then be able to look at some more college guys and bring a college guy in. When it comes to coaching, I think Flus is safe personally from being fired right now. As safe as you can be in the NFL, but I don't think he's on the chopping block. But I don't think they'll let him pick an OC. I think they'll let him hire a DC, but not the OC.
I would
the
demote
only
him.
wild card I'll throw into any of this, because it happens every year. Harbaugh.
Why not? Demote him to defensive coordinator.
I
Demote
don't
him.
think he'd stay for that.
I don't
think
give a fuck what he
No,
wants.
he ain't gonna stay.
He quit. I
Yeah,
think
fuck.
if Harbaugh were to leave Michigan, go call up Warren, call up Poles, and say, "Hey, I'm going to Andre Dawson this. Here's a signed contract. You fill in the numbers. I know I'm not going to be GM, but Poles, he's been killing it. So, fine. I just want you to talk to me before you make moves." That's the only reason Flus, I think, right now is guaranteed out. I don't think they'll let him hire an OC.
Hey, real quick.
Hey, to subscribe to our stuff, let's see, you're watching probably in the main event. So on Facebook, look for the Halas Hall, search Halas Hall Report or Mike the Bear Fan, and like Mike the Bear Fan. In fact, anyone watching, you can like us on Mike the Bear Fan or Halas Hall Report, but Mike the Bear Fan would be the main. Like us and follow us there. Also on YouTube, Halas Hall Report. Am I missing any, Dan?
Bear Fan Dan page too.
There you go, and you can get us that way. We do a lot of stuff with the guys from the main event 365, and so I posted the show to their page because it's War Week. You're more than welcome to come to our pages. We're on. Trust me, I'm on main event. I'm on Villain Squad. I'm in the Villain Squad. I know Woody's in the Villain Squad. Dan, I think you're. Yep, my Bear Down Mike's in the Villain Squad because he's on every morning.
Oh, they were trash talking us the entire time.
Oh, I know.
Now it's just breaking the night.
And feel free, Woody's taking subscribers too. So
yeah, I don't do subscribers. It's just me. But hey, if you want to shoot me an inbox, I'll get you to where you need to go. Yeah, we do a lot of stuff with the Lions guys and the Packers guys, and we were doing stuff with the Vikings guys, but they decided they want to have a show at the same time as ours. So fuck the Vikings. I've known their host Rob for almost 2 decades, and we went to war together. Legitly went to war together in Iraq, and he decides he wants to have a show at the same time as us. So whatever. Yeah. Oh, you found us outstanding, Xavier. Yeah. Give us a like. And speaking of that, we're getting close to 10,000 likes on Mike the Bear Fan. That's something we've been pushing for. Look, with a losing record, we're still gaining followers and speed. In fact, I was talking to the Lions guys today, or the other day. Thank you, Izzy. And you guys, the Lions crew is growing exponentially because you guys are winning. Believe it or not, this show is growing exponentially, even though for the second straight year we're losing. So thank you all for liking and following, sharing, coming on the phone to talk on the show to talk football with us. Bear Down Mike is a perfect example of a guy who's been hanging around with us in the comments for a while. And just one day, hey, dude, can I come on? And I was going to do a solo thing that night. And Bear Down Mike and I shot football talk for what, almost 2 hours?
2 hours, a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, so we love doing this. We're like Metallica. We're a bunch of fans that like to play on stage.
And just remember, Vikings didn't have a show in the beginning of the season. Now that they're winning, now they do have a show. So don't follow them.
No, forget them. Forget those bums. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose to the rest of the North anyways. Even the Packers might get a game.
I can't wait for us to play the Packers. I want to kick their ass.
I honestly think, guys, we are where Detroit was last year. We're becoming that team that if you have playoff aspirations and you're on the bubble, you don't necessarily want to play us because our defense is getting to be that good. If our offense can get its act together, we're going to be that team that you don't, 5th week, 15, 16, 17, 18, that you're not going to want to play us. So if you're the Vikings, and what we get them, twice, right? We got them one more time.
One more time.
And we get them after Monday, on a bye. They're not going to want to see us on Monday Night Football. They're just not.
Plus, we play Green Bay the last.
A few weeks ago.
We play Green Bay the last game of the year in Green Bay, so that'll be that'll be battle for the basement.
That game is good. Maybe battle in the basement. I don't ascribe to the theory that we would ever throw games or any team throws games because these guys are playing for their jobs.
No. Well, fuck them.
Hey, you know what though? I gotta give Lions fans. Look at they. There was some talk in the comments for a bit, like who's ever had it worse than us? Maybe Cleveland. Dude, you guys have Lions. You've not won a playoff game since
93,
1991.
91.
Right? 91.
30 years.
Yes. No, it's been 91.
I was in 7th grade.
Yeah. I just graduated. I had graduated high school. Because
I was 5 years old.
No, so Ken just retired from the military. Ken did. 91.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I retired 30 years ago. Yeah. So here's some interesting scenarios, fellas. One main event Mike talked of. Let's say they get a third game against the Vikings in the wild card round.
Ooh.
That means they'd be seeing kind of scenario we saw in 2010, where we got the Packers the final week of the season, then we got them in the playoffs, and that did not go well for us.
No, because you know what? You know what happened that year is that I was rooting for the Green Bay Packers to beat the Eagles in the playoffs, and I was like, "Come on, Green Bay." Green Bay won, and then what do they do? Come back and smack us the week after. Fuck the Eagles anyway.
So for Lions fans, you got two worst case scenarios. That being worst case scenario number one, you get the Vikings for a third time, and basically it'll be 4 weeks at that point. The other or it could be a good one the way you look at it. Anyone know who beat the Lions last time they were in the last time they were in the playoffs?
Redskins.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. The last time they were. What team was it? Was the 96 team? Was it the last best team they've had to this one? It was the Cowboys. It was the Cowboys thrashed them. The Lions won the division. They were like 12-4, and they went to the playoffs against the Cowgirls, and the Cowgirls destroyed them. Well, they could catch the Cowboys in the playoffs.
And they play Cowboys in the regular season.
Yes. I think for the Lions, their best bet is to catch the San Francisco or Philadelphia just because they haven't played them.
Go ahead. They'll beat Philly, the motherfuckers.
So
what's your thing with Philly? What's going on with Philly? I always want to ask you that.
I live 45 minutes from there. Their team sucks. Their fans suck. But I don't suck, so they all suck. That's why I hate them.
I thought maybe it's a personal vendetta against them.
Oh, no. Nothing's personal with me. Overall, they suck.
I got you. I've always wanted to ask you that. You call them the Seagulls all the time.
No Pennsylvania teams at all. None at all.
He has a hate relationship with Philadelphia teams.
Oh, God.
So I hate the Packers. I wish they lose every year.
Think about what do you like?
I know I loved you for a
45
reason.
minutes from Philly. His hockey team is not the Flyers.
Who's your hockey team?
Devils.
Oh, okay.
They're going through a rough time right now, but fuck the Flyers.
I'm a Blackhawks fan. I like Connor Bernard. That's a stud.
Yeah, we stopped him a couple of weeks or last week when we played you. But we play the outside. We play at MetLife Stadium on the outside hockey game against the Fly Girls.
So yeah, and it was like I'm in Florida. I don't follow. It's funny because down here it's so you a Knowles or you an Alabama or you a LSU Tiger fan. I'm like neither, and they look at me like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm a Bears fan.
Well, Ken, you can't be an Alabama fan because you're not married to your sister.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm 2 hours south of Chicago and 2 hours north of St. Louis.
You're right.
So you got the hot and cold weather.
I'm in Bloomington,
Are you
Illinois.
on 55 or 57?
55.
Okay. So
I'm from Oaklawn, the southwest suburb of Chicago, about 15 minutes from Midway.
Yeah, I grew up in Wheeling, but then the Army moved me everywhere, and they deposited me in Florida, and I stayed here for the nice warm weather.
Yeah, my wife wants to move to Florida.
You keep that fucking weather down there, Ken. I don't want it up here.
Hey, you know what? Your leaves are changing. That's how you look at where you guys live. We know it's fall because the leaves change color. I know it's fall because the license plates change color.
No, our leaves are changing colors, but your balls are changing colors down there. Keep that weather down there. They're sweating. Please.
It's actually been nice here in Illinois, at least the southern part.
Yeah, it's been nice here. I'm in the Panhandle. It's been pretty nice here right now. But
yes.
Hey, fellas, all right, we've been at this for about an hour and a half today. Good talk as always. 11:30, we're going to be doing pregame for everyone still watching.
No. 12:30 Eastern time.
If you're one of those East Coast people, 12:30. If you're like the majority of us here that live in the Central Time Zone, 11:30.
You fucking Bears fans, I swear.
If you're one of them California, if you live in California, you're at 9:30 in the morning for our football pregame. There you go. I've now covered the time zone. I'm not going to get into Greenwich Means Time or any of that. But we'll do pregame at 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. Followed by the game at noon. I think we're the noon game this week, are we not?
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
Yeah. Followed by the game at noon. So for those who haven't followed before, the pregame feed will end and a new feed will then pop up with the game. We should be good for that this week. A UK person. Okay, if you're in the UK,
that's Eastern.
No, it's what are they 6 hours ahead of you?
I just still say they should be Eastern.
I think for you, if you're 6 hours ahead, Izzy, of the East Coast of New York, it would be
the 8 o'clock game.
6:30. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. My grandmother lived in London, by the way.
It's 6 hours ahead of 6 hours ahead of us.
So they're almost getting ready for the 8 o'clock game.
It's 2:56 in the morning right now in the UK.
2:50. So we'll call 9:30. Yeah. So yeah, they're 5 hours ahead then. So you're 5 hours ahead. So That'd be 5:30 UK. You're 5 hours ahead of U.S. Central Time.
Eastern.
Yeah, but it's 11:30 Central, Izzy, and then I think you're 5 hours ahead. So but Woody, because he's pushing this Eastern time zone,
So,
it's 12:30 Eastern. I think you're 4 hours ahead. I might be off,
hey,
but that should be
hey,
it.
the first state was Delaware, East Coast. Sorry. Hey, can't argue with that. You can think all you want.
Hey, we have Bears fans watching too from Italy, Mexico, other places in Asia, across the continental U.S. So we have a good time. I'd like to thank Bear Down Mike for coming on again this week. Bear fan Dan, he may have been fashionably late, but man, is he fashionable. And then Woody, thank you, of course. And like I told you, when you said they changed your work schedule, those bastards, they did not confer with us to make sure that was fine. But thank you for getting home and getting on.
Dan and Mike got to pay me more. That's plain simple.
That's just it. I don't know where our other Mike is today. I haven't heard from him, so I hope he's okay. But it's been a rough year in the housing industry, in the roofing industry, I guess. So there's that. But Mike the Bear fan, go like the page. We're getting close to the 10,000. We're going to do some giveaways at some point. And I'll just go around the horn. Dan, any last words? Mike?
No.
Woody?
Yeah, we're fucked Sunday. Lights out.
I think that's a good way to end it.
Cross your fingers.
Hey, Lions fans, One Pride guys, thanks for showing up. We'll see you all Sunday. Bear down. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Hey, for those still hanging around, thank you for watching. Please go like Mike the Bear fan. Like us on wherever you're watching this, be it Mike the Bear fan on Facebook, be it House Hard Report on YouTube. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Izzy, all the way from across the pond, and some other folks. It was great to have you here. Hope you all have a great night.